Hey Rising, welcome back to Groves. It's been a while, so we're super excited to kick off our Grove season, and I hope you're super excited to meet some new folks and maybe make some new friendships and connections. As you know, Groves are super important here at Rising Church, and so as we start off this new semester, I just kind of wanted to, usually we kind of do a fellowship night, and we don't really dive into anything heavy just yet, but because we're kind of condensed a little bit, I wanted to go ahead and give you a few thoughts as we kick off this new season. And so hopefully you've already had a chance to get to know everybody a little bit and have some good questions and just maybe some fellowship and some food. I don't know what you guys have done. But really, I just want you to kind of reemphasize how important Groves are to us at Rising. It's really super critical, I think, for us to be church and to have connection with each other. And like we talked about a few weeks ago, have the roots dig into each other, intertwine with one another, because as a lot of us have experienced over the last, little stretch here, there's going to come some time when we need each other. And so in Ecclesiastes, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be bringing the Ecclesiastes series into our Groves, and we're going to be talking about some of these passages and kind of having a chance to really discuss and kind of unpack a little bit more. But the main passage I would say in Ecclesiastes has to do with this idea of Groves is in Ecclesiastes chapter 4, which I preached on a little bit a few weeks back, but it kind of opens up this one line. I just want to read this one because I just think it's so profound, where he says, "Two return for their labor. If either of them falls down, one can help the other up." And then he says this phrase, he says, "But pity anyone who falls and has no one to help them up." And I just think that's so true. Like sometimes when I think about people that don't have connection, they don't have that fellowship, they don't have that deeper connection with other people, what happens when they fall? What happens when they struggle? What happens when they get sick? What happens when they have an issue and they have nobody to kind of support them and be there for them, and if they fall, to help them get back up? And I just think that's so tragic. I think so often in the Christian world, we kind of settle for just kind of watching the program going on stage as opposed to having these real relationships. And because we do that, then when we fall, we don't have anybody to help us get up. Like Ecclesiastes is saying, if we have a massive issue or a life crisis or a health issue, we don't have anybody to help us get back up. And so that's kind of what Grows is supposed to be. And so I just want you to kind of go into this session saying, hey, this is going to be about us getting to know each other and making deeper connections. And it's going to take some time. It's not automatic to kind of have the depth of relationship where you can really feel like these people have my back and they're going to support me and they're going to be with me. And if I do fall, I can share my struggles and they're going to help me get back up. But give it some time. Give it time this semester, because a lot of the Grows are newer and there's newer folks in them, to really kind of connect and gel, open up little by little, so that you can make these connections with each other that are going to help sustain each other and help each other grow. So one of the things I do want to encourage you with this morning is I don't know if we really understand how important the fellowship part is. I think of a story from when I was in college. Actually, right after college, my buddy and I, we went to Europe, backpacking through Europe. And we were both leaders in our church and with Young Life. And so we were kind of used to, on a weekly basis, kind of having a lot of fellowship and connection with other believers. And so we went on this trip and we were backpacking, just the two of us. And we kind of realized after, a week and a half, 2 weeks, that we really just kind of missed fellowship with other believers. We had met up with some friends that weren't believers, and we had attended Carnival, if you know anything about that, and kind of seen all this stuff going on in Europe and just kind of been in some of the dark areas of Europe. And so we were just kind of like thirsty for fellowship. We didn't really understand. We couldn't name it, like what's wrong and what's missing, until we actually took a train overnight to Heidelberg, Germany from Italy. And we had some friends that knew there was some college program, and they said, hey, when you're in Heidelberg, go visit this place, and you can leave your backpack there so you guys can kind of just explore the city. And so we went to this place and we knocked on the door, and they're like, oh yeah, we know so-and-so. And they're like, oh yeah, great, hey, you can leave your stuff here. So we left it there. And then at the end of the day, we returned back. And it was interesting because we knocked on the door, they opened it up, and we could kind of hear in the background some worship music and some people singing, and we're like, hey, what's going on? They're like, oh, a bunch of us are believers. We're part of this college program. We're here for the semester. And so, once a week we have a fellowship night where we worship and we do Bible study. And we were just kind of like salivating, like, can we come? And they're like, yeah, absolutely. And so they invited us in, and it was just like, I think we just realized in that moment, after 2 weeks of kind of just being out there on our own, how much we had missed just fellowship with other believers and having this kind of deeper connection. And it was pretty cool because we had this instant connection with these people that we had never met because of Jesus. And so it was just kind of this idea that we just needed to have that kind of fellowship and community. And I believe that God has wired that into us. And so that's one of the things we're hoping to accomplish this semester, is that we will make those connections, that we can kind of feed and pour into each other. We can hold each other accountable. We can encourage each other. When one of us is struggling, to help them out, pray for each other, and also sharpen each other as we look into God's word and kind of hear from each other different perspectives so that we can grow. So all that to say, I'm excited for this semester. We're going to kind of kick it back to the way we used to do things. And so we're super excited to kind of start off this video just to give you an intro, and just really praying that even today, this very first session that you guys have with each other is fruitful, and you start to feel more engaged and connected with each other. So I hope you guys will have a great first week, and we will see you next time.